It's Tuesday, September the 11th. I'm Mike Dubrick.
I'm Patrick Cavanaugh.
And this is Red Patch Live.
Chance to pop one in again. Go forward again. Down on their feet, come rising with Didio! And finally, remember the name, remember the date. The fans have gone wild because this is the very first goal ever scored by Toronto FC in Major League Soccer. Number 9, 6'3", Danny Didio.
Welcome to Red Patch Live. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the show. Coming up today, Patrick, what do we got?
We're going to talk about general team complaints. There seems to be on the boards tons of complaining again. Here we go again.
We're also going to talk about Mo Johnston, though. One of the complaints, obviously, has been whether or not Mo is fit for the position.
Should he be sacked?
Should he or should he not be? We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to talk about the referees. You've had some
and
observations.
the morons at the helm. The morons at the helm again. So, yeah, we need to talk a little bit about that because, again, the refereeing is a major issue.
As always, we're going to wrap up the last TFC game, which took place on Saturday against FC Dallas, and we'll be finishing the show off with the look forward to Real Salt Lake on Saturday, and of course our usual events and news and all the other good stuff that Red Patch Live brings to you every week. So, Patrick, where are we starting off?
Well, okay, lots of complaints again. I guess we can start off, we want to look at this from two levels, from board titles and I think just general complaints about the team and the fact that the only news we get is complaints from the AP in the Sun, and that's about the only write-ups the team gets. But really where it bothers me is, to start off, is the way that posts are labeled. Lombardo sucks, Samuel's fat, this guy's crap, this guy's, and I could swear, and but it's just ridiculous the way our fans are reacting.
Is it ridiculous, though? Because, I mean, if you look at the performances as of late, I mean, a lot of people have the opinion. It's not just a general sort of throwing it out there.
Yeah, but
people genuinely believe that Lombardo's not good enough to be on the team.
That's right. He's
so
20
isn't it
years
not
old.
their right to be?
He wasn't meant to be a starting striker on the squad.
So why is he
this
a
year?
starting striker on the
Because
squad?
we have major injuries. We have Didio out. We have Cunningham out for the rest of the year. So, I mean,
why are
we have
players
to
not being brought in then for that
we
position?
got to accept year one that we're not going to have that kind of depth.
Yeah.
I mean, and we have the Canadian rule where we have to have the Canadian players, which doesn't allow us to pick from a larger pool of players to fit in. I mean, we've got lots of little issues here.
Okay, but
and
you brought in
people don't
Colin
take the time
Samuel.
to think about it. Yeah. Well,
okay, let's talk about him then. He's supposed to be coming up as a striker.
I don't know if we have the cap room.
He's getting paid a decent wage, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
So why is if he's not effective, why is he staying around? Why is Andy Welsh getting dumped and Colin Samuel is being brought in, being completely ineffective and clearly not fit, and he's still getting to play? Why is he not getting dumped off?
We have no other options, and this late in the season, transfer window's closed. Yeah. Where are we going to get the players from?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, there has to be an opportunity. There has to be somewhere where players can be brought in.
The bags are packed. The season's over.
And is that a good thing?
No, but it's frustrating.
There's still seven games left?
We still have to understand we're on the base of our depth chart, and that we're relying on a guy that just turned 20 this year as our frontline striker and our front man. I mean, more than Samuel. He's the one that's playing off to Samuel, and he hasn't had the experience. I think he's played like a total over 3 years, maybe 7 gameplay levels for Atlantia. So I mean, really, where is he going to get this experience from? All he has been as a reserve player.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, for me, usually when you see a younger player come into a side, usually the reason they're coming into that side is because they have a little bit of exceptional ability that makes them capable of competing with the big boys, if you will. Mm-hmm. And Lombardo really hasn't shown that, and I guess you can talk about him being thrown into the fire and not really being an option. But you know what, the team, in my opinion, I think the team needs to be prepared for that. They need to have more depth, especially up front where you need to score. At the beginning of the season, the biggest question mark for the team was the defense. That got solidified quite quickly with the Marvel Wen addition and with the Goldthwait addition, who's subsequently been dealt to another team. Right. But, up front, when Didio came in, and then Cunningham was brought in. Other than that, there's never been any sort of building of the squad on the offense.
Where are you going to get them all from? We still have a cap. It's not like we can just have a massive amount
there's
of
space,
players.
Though. There was space in the cap.
How much?
I don't know.
Well, then Leave me alone.
I'm not a numbers guy. I'm not a numbers guy. For me, I look at the squad, and for me, like the coach, that's the coach's job is to find the space, is to get rid of dead weight players that aren't pulling their weight.
But we can't anymore. Not at this point. We can't.
They just got rid of Andy Welsh 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, right before the deadline.
Yeah.
So what were you going to do? Get rid of 2 or 3 more players?
Why didn't they bring anybody in?
Lack of depth.
If they knew they were getting rid of Andy,
because the season's over, and this is still MLSE.
Yeah.
Right. This is still the people that run the Leafs.
Yeah.
So let's be honest here. They saw. You know what? We've made our money this year. Ticket prices are going up. They're selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
We don't really need to do anything. All we need to do is now ride this out. Get rid of that $200K that Andy Welsh was making. Ride this out. And we're good to go. And next year we start all over again. We have a whole off season to start adding depth. That's the mindset.
I hope that's not. I really do hope that's not the case.
What mindset do you think they would have brought somebody in if that wasn't the case? If they thought they had the opportunity to compete? I think once all the injuries hit, they had no opportunity to compete in their mind, so they just backed off and said, "Let's ride this out. We've sold out the rest of the year. It's not like we have anything to worry about, and we'll just." Tell them, hey, it was an expansion year. It was a learning experience. We've got our learning curve in. We have now an organization that understands the league and the financial structure, and we're going to build and learn and grow.
Okay, so let's talk. Let's get back to talking about the board then. If you're saying that all these things are true, which are obviously very negative things towards the team, why are you then opposed to people posting about this stuff on the board?
I'm not opposed to people posting. As I've said probably 40 times before. Just be kind of intelligent, mildly, instead of somebody sucks. I mean, come on, what are we, 8? 8 years old, somebody sucks, and would we poke them and then run away? It's children's stuff, and it gets boring.
Isn't that the nature of the board, though, is to just sort of be
a child?
No, not to be a child, but to sort of be casual, to be able to say, the same as you would have a barroom conversation, because that's really what it's supposed to be. It's a congregation of people in a sort of casual setting where, because the fact that you can't all be together, it's the same as being in a bar, though. It's the same as sitting at a table and chatting.
No, it's
and
not.
I would expect
because
to
I
be
can
able
confront you at a bar. I can confront you and chat with you about it and go back and forth. That's not what's happening. People just lump a comment on to get off their childlike chest and then walk away and just let the conjecture reign. And they never come back and pontificate on their opinion. They don't. I mean, you just get nothing. You just get childlike conjecture sometimes, and it's frustrating. It's boring. I've actually found myself going on the boards a little less because it's so boring.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. I've actually been on the boards a little bit less as well, or at least I go on and I check and I kind of say, okay,
there's 10 threads about the same freaking thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not only that. It's not only the complaints that are motivating people to sort of stay clear of the board a little bit. I think it's the fact that the team's not doing well. The team's not scoring. The team's not even drawing games. They're losing games. Nothing's happening. Nothing is happening with the team. There's really nothing to talk about.
Hey, look, I'm frustrated too.
People are frustrated, and that's why this sort of stuff's coming about. When it was all happy days, when we killed Dallas 4-0, there wasn't any, this team crap threads. No, there weren't.
There were players crap threads. Andy Welsh was still getting stick at that time.
Not when we were winning on that rate. I think people were sort of saying Welsh, played all right today. That's when when we started winning those games. That's when people are starting to say, I still think he sucks, but he was all right. And that made you really happy because you posted on the board and had this long sort of diatribe about how you thought it was really great that people were starting to respect Andy Welsh and all that sort of stuff. And then he proved that he wasn't very good, and then they got rid of him. But I digress. Let's talk about Mo Johnston. Let's talk about Mo.
I can't wait to get you back. How much time do we have, Alex?
It won't take long. Let's talk about Mo Johnston. One of the big things that people have been talking about on the message boards is the fact that Mo Johnston hasn't addressed the problems with the team as of late, and people are sort of calling for his head a little bit.
Yeah, so the whole team sucks. Mo Johnston should be fired. Oh man, I'm back in Leaf Nation. It's the same boring stuff. Yes, there's problems with a first-year franchise. A fairly young coach. You could suggest he's fairly young coach. And
fairly young and inexperienced,
right.
For sure.
And I respect that. I personally think he's an excellent motivator. Maybe some don't like his style. I like the style of, if you don't want to play here, if you don't like the way things, get the heck out. I like that. I like to have a team that has continuity. Some people believe that's not a necessity. I believe it's a necessity to be a champion. And I think that's the kind of thing he builds. He builds a strong team atmosphere and a camaraderie. And that's an important element, especially when you're shifting a lot of new players in and out and integrating them into a system which maybe he doesn't really have. And that's where the issue that I have is, does he have a system?
When I look at a head coach or a manager, or whatever you want to call him, this is the sort of thing that you need to think about. You have your responsibilities are, of course, to bring in players. So you're playing the general manager role where you should be constantly out looking for talent, looking to bring in players and improve your team. That's your number one. Your number two is to motivate those players and to be the sort of inspirational leader of your team.
Which
and
I think he
the third
does.
thing is your tactics. As head coach, as manager of the team, he has responsibility not only to put the right players on the field, but to put them in the position that's going to make them win games. And that has been the sort of number one thing I think people have been upset about this season, is that it's not so much the style that we play, although there are people that don't even like the style we play. It's the ability to adapt to
I'd
what's
be curious.
happening.
Actually, just a thought as you were explaining that is, who is our assistant coaches? I mean, a lot of times teams, the tacticians are your assistant managers and your coaches and your set piece coaches. Who are? I mean, I'm quite ignorant in this area. I just realized, wow, I know nothing.
No. Mo brought in a couple of quite experienced guys. I think one of the old head coach from KC. If Alex wants to pull that up, we'll find out for it in a second. The old coach from KC, I think, is his assistant. He's brought a lot of experience in to support him because, exactly as you were saying, he's a young guy, so he's bringing in these sort of seasoned vets to.
So why aren't we
sort of
calling
help
them
him
out? Because really, as a
because
manager,
he's the one who hires them. He's the one who brings them in.
So, but we can't say he's a poor tactician. We can say he hired poor tacticians, and that's where he's accountable.
Well, he's ultimately accountable for that, though. So people should be judging him based on not only who what happens on the field, but who he's brought in.
I think we're saying the same thing. I'm just saying it better.
Never. But let's talk a bit more about Mo. His sort of attitude to get rid of players, and that one point, if you remember in the season, where he said, "This is it. We've decided on our players. We're going forward with this. No more trades. That's it." And it kind of has been like that. I mean, other than Welsh sort of going and a couple of rumors here and there, nothing really has happened with the squad. But do you really think that it's appropriate that, to not make any more changes since the nosedive? And, to be fair, when you can talk about, transfer windows and all that sort of stuff, that's 2 weeks ago. We haven't scored a goal since July when we played against Chicago. So it's not to sort of say that, this has only started recently. So
he should have known that this scoreless streak was going to continue.
No, I think after three, if he was going to have the sort of vigilante justice that he had back, Goldthwait has one bad game against New York.
Well, I think there was something in the background and the black eye, and we don't know what really happened.
Yeah, but I mean, and look at other situations though, where he, Mo's been quoted a few times for coming on and saying, someone saying a comment like that's unacceptable, and we're going to deal with it.
Right.
And that's
Gone.
it. Next thing you know, boom, the guy's gone. Right. It's
like Esky with the turf.
Well, yeah, and how does it go?
Which he was right.
How does it go from that? How does it go from that one day to we're just going to go with it? I don't care.
Well, because I think the general conjecture was, there's too many moves. We're not getting continuity. That's why we're not winning. And actually, once we did settle as a team, that's when things started to go well.
Yeah,
but then
things are going great.
Then the turf injuries started to hit. The constant turf injuries. Boom, 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 falling like flies. What do? You have 6 and 7 players. You're basically your whole starting 11. At some
9
point,
of the 11 guys.
Yeah.
9 of the 11 players.
And
injuries.
very important players like Cunningham, like Wynn, these were
O'Brien's the number one.
Yeah,
We've never
exactly.
scored. Toronto FC's never scored a goal without him. Yeah,
MVP.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm kind of wishy-washy in the whole thing. I was never a huge fan when I heard Mo's name being thrown around at the beginning.
That's that whole Hun thing, isn't it?
No.
Was he a traitor, the Judas?
No. You know what? It's not that, because I with like everything else with Toronto FC, I've kept an open mind about it, and I'm of the opinion that, if you want to still have those sort of traditions with your old team, you can keep those, but it shouldn't be brought to a head when it comes to the club. And I try to keep an open mind about Mo, and I was more concerned about the fact that he, his only real sort of head coaching position was at New York, which was a very poor spell, and he basically got run out of town until they brought in Bruce Arena, right? And for me, one of the big reasons why he was brought to Toronto was because he had a name and because they were trying to sell the product of the team. Right. And, if you bring in, I guess Bruce Arena would be a bit of a big name, but, if you were to bring in another sort of like an assistant from like Columbus or one of these kind of types who could coach the team, that's not going to get any buzz. That's not going to get people on the message board.
MLSE would actually do something as atrocious as bring someone in for a purely PR perspective and not look at trying to win, but looking at making dollars? I mean, this is what you're saying?
Were you
I mean, that's quite an accusation.
Were you like choked by Harold Ballard, like when you were a small child or something? Like he like slapped you around, and you have this like this like hatred for the Leafs in the back of your mind.
I do. I used to be a big. I was a Leaf fan since I was a kid, and they're a joke. And it was my number one concern about being a season ticket holder with this club.
You know what it is with Mo, and it's the one reason why I don't think they should get rid of him is because that high profile stature. Not only does that get fans in, but that also gets players in. There was no mention of MLS in as if you want to call it a newspaper, the Daily Record in Scotland, which posted numerous articles about Toronto FC this season. That wouldn't have happened without Mo. Right. In England as well, all these sort of things, right? If you don't have the publicity with your coach...
we can't get any print here.
Well, yeah, but what have we done lately to get that print, But you know what I mean?
Well, you think they would jump all over the fact that we're crap.
Why? What is there to say? You say it once, and then what are you going to say?
That's what's exciting for them. They want to keep proving.
TFC still can't score. Yeah. How many weeks can you run the same article? They might as well just hit, repeat on the article if they're going to print it. It's been the same story week in, week out for the last 4 or 5 weeks, right? But anyway, what I'm saying is that the popularity brings in players as well and gets the sort of, having a knowledge of Robinson and Dicchio and these sort of guys. Although I remember hearing something about Mo, didn't even really know much about Dicchio. Yeah. Which is kind of concerning on its own. That we brought him in like a week later.
Right.
But, it's a tough one because I would say, you would keep Mo because who else in the MLS knows the ins and outs of the league, which is heavily complex. You can't just bring in, I think, what's his name? The German guy who's going to take over LA.
Klinsmann?
Yeah, if Klinsmann's going to take over, he's going to have a tough time when he comes in his first season because he has to understand the allocations and the designated player and all these sort of rules. And Mo really, really, really has a fundamental understanding of that and knows it.
And knows a lot of the players.
And knows a lot of the players.
With some of them.
Like he brings in O'Brien because he knows that he's a top-notch guy, right? But, until MLSE can find someone who has the popularity and the ability to know the league like Mo does, who else are you going to bring in?
Right.
Who else is there?
I'm fine with Mo, as you know, and I think, give him another year at least, a full season at least, and then just work it from there. But we were playing quite well. Yeah. We were playing quite well until the injuries hit, and we knew we didn't have the depth. We all knew that going in. We had a decent starting squad, one that could have slipped into the playoffs. Year one, that would have been fantastic.
Yeah, we would have been in. We would have had a good run for it, I think. But anyway, just sort of to prove that we're not completely useless, Bob Gansler is the assistant coach for Toronto FC, and that's the guy that Mo knew and brought in.
Right.
That's helped out tremendously.
I'm kind of useless, to be honest.
I'm not denying
I'm rather useless.
I'm not denying that whatsoever. But let's talk about something else because this complaining it just really gets tired and really sort of like
So let's move to the next topic.
Yeah, let's start complaining about something else because I'm just I honestly get sort of like it wears me out. Like I remember getting all excited when we were winning and stuff, and now just to hear people going on and on and on and
go have a nap.
Yeah, it's just driving me crazy. But you wanted to complain about something else.
Yeah, well, okay. So we know what happened, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it with Dallas, the last game this past Saturday with Dallas, and we've all kind of had.
He's so dramatic. Come on, man.
Well, I'm trying. I'm like ramping up. I'm afraid I'm going to pop a blood vessel and have an aneurysm for Pete's sake. Like I'm almost yeah. I feel a little pain under my armpit. I'm smelling. What do you smell? Wood or something? What is it you smell?
Oh, here we go.
Do what's that? Toast. Yeah, I'm smelling toast. Wood.
That's a seizure. That's not an aneurysm.
Oh well, whatever. No, it's a heart attack. Don't you smell wood?
No, you get shooting pains in your arm for a heart attack. And how do you not know that? Everyone's seen that commercial with the doctor, and he pokes the woman's brain in the 30s, and she's like, "Hey, smell butter toast. It is butter toast, doctor." Remember, everybody knows that.
This is another moment by Heritage Canada.
Oh, come on, man! I can't believe you doing that. And then like the Canada. That's the best one. And the guy's like, "No, I know it is Toronto.
All I know is I'm unhealthy and something's about to happen."
Anyway, so what you actually wanted to talk about was referees. MLS referees.
Okay.
Go.
They're crap. And you know what? This is what bugs me. I went into the store the other day, and there was about 4 jerseys of other teams. Of course, Chelsea, all the glory hunter teams. So we had Celtic, Chelsea.
I love how you put that at the top.
I think a couple of Liverpool. So we had all the glory hunter teams covered, right?
Yeah.
But then there was about 40 Beckham jerseys.
Yeah.
Okay. $250 million, $250 million they spent to bring this guy over.
Yep.
So why am I ticked off about that? Because they can't spend nominal cash on decent officials. We have officials, as we talked about, 4 or 5 shows ago,
Yep.
that are officiating games that fat guys like me are running around playing. And
men's league teams,
men's
in,
league teams,
rec parks
and then
in the city.
and we want to talk about credibility and the credibility of Don Garber in this league and abroad, and there's no credibility. I was so ticked off at that first call, and it was funny because Tyrone Marshall, when he got interviewed at the halftime, was literally saying that referee wasn't even positioned to make the call. He was directly behind. That's why he went immediately and started yelling at the linesman, because they don't get it. This is simple officiating, and he did not touch that player coming in on the net. He did not touch him. And it just blows my mind that they can spend $250 billion or million dollars, million dollars,
billions of dollars.
a Googleplex. They can spend all that money on one player, but they can't get decent officiating. That blows my mind. Don Garber has no credibility to me. He is a Gary Bettman of the MLS. He's garbage. He's junk. He's useless. I just am so ticked off at how poor he's operating this league. And Beckham is not even playing. And he's putting, as they say, the proverbial egg in one basket, and the guy's not even playing. How stupid do you have to be as a businessman to put all your eggs in one basket like that? I know junior coordinators that can manage marketing better than that.
I think
I'm
you're
not
going
kidding.
a little far. I think
No,
you're going a
know
little
people
far
that-
on
no, I'm
your
not. I
sort of
think he's a
criticism of
moron.
him.
No.
I think if we're talking about referees, it's
Well, get the credibility. You can buy them. You can pay for them.
They're looking too much big picture MLS. They're looking to how do we make the sport grow exposure-wise, marketing-wise, and they're forgetting things. I think that's the sort of crux of it, is that they're forgetting
That is the
little
sign
things.
of poor leadership.
Well,
A good leader covers all his bases. He understands the organics and the organic growth of his product.
Yeah.
That is what the issue is. It's just, it blows my mind that he can let something as important as this go in terms of credibility, and then go and sign all these big players and put all your eggs literally in the Beckham basket and have the jerseys selling everywhere, but not having a proper official.
Here's a question: why is it not a bigger issue? Have you ever read an article in an American newspaper?
Knows. We're dealing with Americans that are just learning the game. You think
Yeah.
some 8-year-old in Columbus is going to write Don Garber about the level of officiating? Because we know that's all the fans they have.
Yeah, but
So we have some real fans up here that get it, that have been watching this game for 10, 15, 20 years plus, and we understand what an official is supposed to be doing. And
now,
that's
what if
why
they make
we're frustrated.
what if they make the adjustment for next season based on the fact that fans are recognizing this and starting to talk about it?
I don't think they are enough. I don't think they are enough.
I mean, they've already moved towards bringing in.
I think they have three official,
three full-time
in a
MLS
whole
referees.
league. How embarrassing is that?
It is. It's a bit of a joke, but
A bit.
I'm hoping that they can make the effort towards it for next season. Don't you?
Well, we'll see, but I guarantee you, no, they'll just sign more DPs.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, Danielson,
I really think he's a real idiot. I really do. I think he's base.
What about Danielson? I mean, we'll talk more about Dallas in a bit, but let's talk about it a little bit. Danielson came in. That was his first ever game for Dallas on Saturday.
So I'm not allowed to talk anymore about it?
No, what else are you going to say? You said
I don't know.
you're just going through like your thesaurus of the words that like synonyms of suck. It's like, they suck, they're crap, they're garbage.
I just need to get it out, man. I just need to get it out. I need to vent, man. I need to get it out.
So no, let's talk about Danielson. You were talking about DPs. Let's talk about DC or Dallas.
Looks like he played pretty well for his first game.
He played pretty well. I didn't. You know what? I've only seen highlights of the game. I'm quite disappointed in myself that I didn't see it.
Part-time supporter.
Yeah. Okay. New to the game. Hockey convert. That's the other one, right?
Yeah.
Hockey convert.
Celtic fan, which is like right there.
Yeah. But let's talk about Dallas a
Now,
little
he
bit.
played well. Now, the thing is,
Tell me about the game.
I don't know how well he truly played, because he was on the left side, and that's the side that we had Braz and Boyens playing on.
Yeah.
And we know that's like all thumbs. And
Wow.
so, he probably looked
What
better
do you
than he
want
would.
the team to do? What do they do? They're 20 years old. Where's all that argument now? You only save it for Lombardo?
Well, because nobody's complaining about them right now.
Yeah,
Someone
exactly.
go on the boards and complain about Braz, and then I'll tell you how stupid you are.
Exactly. He's going to start complaining about it then. No, it was from what I heard is that the team Toronto FC actually had the run of play against Dallas. They
did.
actually took it to them quite a bit.
They took it to them until obviously the wind got taken to the sails by the officiating again and the first call. Now the second one, let's be honest, was an absolute penalty. I mean, Melo was what a moronic move. And you know what? This goes back to
at least take him down,
but take him down proper. Take him down so he doesn't get up as easy, not pull his jersey. I mean, that's ridiculous. And the funny thing is. You know, and I've brought this up before, and it kind of upsets me a little bit because the team doesn't show moxie in these situations when they're getting behind. And
hey, I said that to you one day after the game. I was like, "How come we aren't just kicking guys a little bit, and getting mad?
Yeah,
they don't seem to get pissed off."
No, and that does bother me, and that really is something that maybe not everyone has that personality, and not every player does. But I'd like to have a couple that do that. Don't let people humiliate us, and we began to get humiliated towards the end, and that's when you step up. That's when you show that we are not going to accept this as a team and as players. And, I would accept if we're going to lose. I'd rather lose with a couple of red cards.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like we're gonna get much done in the rest of the year, considering all that's happened.
Yeah.
So let's go out with a little moxie. Let's go out with some gumption and show that we're the type of team that's gonna be tough to play against.
You know who I will throw that out to? I'll throw that out to Jim Brennan though, because he's somebody who he barks at, like he's not gonna go in with dirty tackles or anything, and I'm not saying that he should, but you can see him barking at guys on the field. He screams. He's always right there, first guy in the ref's face. If any fans happen to get out of order, he'll come over and talk to them too. He just does anything that's
I have no idea what you're referring to.
But I'll give him the kudos because he does step it up, and you can see that he cares about it.
No,
he genuinely cares.
Dude played with broken ribs, broken hand, and he just keeps on playing and keeps on showing up. I have the utmost respect for him. I really do. He's the kind of player I really love. And I mean, he plays the right kind of position. He's come here with the right attitude as a leader. He deserves the armband. I remember it got flipped to Robinson a few times. I think Robinson's a great player and a great
flipping the captains.
No,
I'm
not
captain's
at all.
your captain. That's it. It's like
no. And Robinson would be my second choice, but Brennan is the number one choice for captain. He's been a deserved captain all year long, and I'm stoked to have him on the team, and I hope he sticks it out for the rest of his career here.
And were you at Shoeless for the game on Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah? How was that?
It was pretty good. There was about 15 of us there, obviously because there was the Niagara tournament going on, which drew a lot of guys down there, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't mind at all that there was a diminutive crowd because it meant something great for RPBs was going on somewhere else.
Yeah.
But the tape delay was a bit of an issue for me. I did show up. I didn't know that it was a tape delay, so I showed up around 7 o'clock. So
yeah. I take it you didn't leave, of course.
No, of course not.
Hung out at the bar for 2 hours by yourself.
I just laid with my head back on the bar and had Guinness free flow into my throat for about 3 hours.
Good.
Yeah, I left a little tuned.
Well, like I was telling you before, I mean, I actually didn't get the chance to see the game. Well, nobody saw it live. I didn't get a chance to see it on the tape delay on Saturday.
So
I was down in the States for obviously college football started in the U.S. and I was down there for a game.
Right on.
I'm not a huge Michigan fan, but Michigan's probably the closest and best venue to get to from Toronto. So went down there for the weekend, and man, you know what? Like it's such a good time down there.
Yeah.
And it makes me mad, and I'm not gonna complain about Toronto FC, and I'm not even gonna complain about the X Grounds because they've been awesome this year. They've been so good. But it just makes me mad when I think about like Argos, and when I think about Jays, like they don't tailgate in the States for baseball either. But even university sports in Canada, it's just like, and the cities like tailgating laws and stuff, it's such a piece of garbage. It just makes me sick. I went to Las Vegas like a month and a half ago, and in Vegas you're allowed to walk around on the street with your drinks, and I'm not saying you should be able to do that in Toronto.
I think you should.
But you know what? I was in Vegas, and Vegas is party city, right? Everybody's going crazy, right?
Sin City.
I didn't see one person like yakking on the street. I didn't see anybody falling over. I didn't see anybody fighting. I didn't see any of that stuff. I go to Michigan. There's 110,000 people at the game, which are all within, like a mile radius of the stadium.
Right.
They're all drinking. They're all, it's kind of cool. You go down the main street and it's like a raging kegger at every house from all the actual students.
Right.
And they're all in the houses. They're doing beer bongs off the second floor, and they're all playing beer pong and stuff like that. But nobody's like falling down and throwing up on the street. Nobody's punching each other in the face.
That's after the game.
That's after the game. No, but you know what? And you go to these tailgates, and in the States, the sort of idea of the tailgate is that it's almost a family event. You go and you put up your tent.
I've done it numerous
and you
times.
sit there and you fire back a few beers, and you sit and you chat with your friends, and you have a good time. And that's the same thing we pretty much do on the Saturdays before leading into the game until it sort of gets going and we get a little fired up. But it's just a community event. You're hanging out, you're having a good time, and these morons in city council in Toronto, not to take a word from you, but these idiots who are in city council and in the provincial government in Ontario, who want to try and dictate to their to the citizens when they can do things, when they can't do things. You can drink here, you can't drink here, you can't hang out in like in a sporting event.
And all it does is pander to the corporate entities.
Of course, you end up having the Argos with these stupid
tents.
Yeah,
10
they're
by
like,
10s,
we're going to tailgate with the Argos.
Selling me
it's a beer
Steelback
garden for
beer,
6 beers. It's garbage. It's complete garbage. It's a joke. And you know what? It shows a lack of respect for the intelligence of the people in this city. That you're too stupid to drink on your own and to be able to have a good time without doing something wrong.
Well, the fact that I can only get
crime.
booze at the Lickbow.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on the LCBO. It's the fact that the government.
I'm being
runs,
taught Rube vernacular.
Hey, I've always known the Lickbow. It's good stuff. I give all
What's it
credit
called?
to
the Hictionary.
Yeah, that's it. No, but even the LCBO. I mean,
come on, Mike, get her done.
We don't have
Puke
time.
it.
We don't have to. Yeah, pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. I don't have time. We don't have time to go off on like my political thoughts on the LCBO, other than the fact that the government shouldn't be running a business; they should be running the province.
Correct.
But I don't want to talk about that stuff. For me, it's like. You wonder why 2,000 people show up to see U of T and 110,000 people show up to see Michigan. Yeah, there's a difference between the product on the field, but it's the event that is created. And the city and the province and the stupidity of the schools in Canada doesn't allow it to happen. And they deny people to have community events, and it's a joke, and it should change. And people, how amazing would it be if there were 25,000 people all around BMO Field, all getting ready for the game every week. They don't need to go to like bars and get all tuned up and walk 30 minutes and all that sort of stuff.
It creates a unity as well.
Of course, it creates an environment. It makes a better
mob
environment
mentality,
around
unity.
the stadium.
Yeah.
When you're at Michigan, when I was there on the weekend, you're sitting there and all you see is the flags and little tents and people just playing cards and having a beer and whatever and just chilling out. But it's like you kind of, from the moment you get there, like 10 o'clock in the morning, game's at 4, you get like fired up. You see the flags, you start to get ready to go. You toss the ball around. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But it just... I don't know. I come back and I see, I was watching Rogers U of T against Ottawa and there was nobody in the stadium and I'm just like, it actually could be different if they want it to be.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they don't want it to be. I don't understand why they can't trust the people in the city to be able to be in charge of their own lives.
Well, let's just say this, Mike. I mean, BMO, the cops have all been class with us.
Yes.
And, we want to say, we do want to say we appreciate that. I do. I mean, there was only the one minor incident where the police asked us to put all the booze away, and just because people weren't putting it in plastic cups. But everyone has complied since then, and they've been fantastic. So, let's appreciate what we've got now. But I do appreciate your point as well that we don't get it. And
we don't get it.
That if we could get it, it would be even better.
It would be even better.
It's pretty darn good right now, and I'd like to see some changes, but that's only because I drink way too much.
But, you're right. You're right. I will give credit to the team. They've been so awesome with this and letting us kind of have our barbecues out and have a good time. And same goes for the police. They've been tremendous.
Yeah, they've been awesome.
And having said that, I mean, we are going to talk a little bit about, the events coming up for this weekend, but I will say that people should be coming out. Like, if you haven't come out to our tailgates before, come out because it's a blast.
And
we're
just bring plastic cups.
Yeah, bring plastic cups. Bring all that stuff. But
bring
come
food.
And
we have barbecues.
And let's get a bit of atmosphere going at the tailgates as well, because I know people sort of come out and they just sort of hang out and just sort of eat a bit of food and that sort of thing. But let's get out and let's bring some more color to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring in a couple of flagpoles and I don't care. Tape it to the side of your, tape it to a tree. I don't care.
Stick it in your back pocket.
That's it. Like let's get a little bit more atmosphere going on outside the stadium and get really fired up for this.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we should be getting fired up for, obviously, Real Salt Lake Saturday.
Esky, the diver.
He's coming back. It's Esky's first game back. Do you think the fans should boo him? Should they cheer him, or they should just sort of not really one or the other?
He flopped all over the pitch last time we played him. Boo him.
I wouldn't boo the guy. I wouldn't.
I
boo
will.
him. I'm not going to roaringly cheer him,
No.
even if he, even when he comes out, I won't roaringly cheer him. I'll give him a clap. He was dedicated to Toronto FC. He was loving the fact that he was here, and he gave his all for the team when he was here, and that's really what you have to respect and consider.
Too bad. He's gone.
But he's coming back, and would you say the same thing if Dicchio were to leave and come back? Would you boo him?
Yes, I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
Oh, well.
That's disgusting.
Go home, Mike.
Anyway, so Real Salt Lake's coming in. Real Salt Lake, obviously the worst team in the league.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that anymore. But, they started off very poorly, but they've been a little bit better since then. I think we had a hard time in their home ground, and we drew.
We did, yeah.
0-0
No, we won. That was the first ever Toronto FC victory. It was. You may be clouded because memories of that game are obviously the Andy Welsh face slide on the 50-yard line there. So most people don't really remember what happened. But that was the Toronto FC victory. Colin Samuel with the penalty, I do believe.
Oh, right. The
that
1-0.
gave us the victory.
Fair enough. Good
that
to
game
go.
was impossible to watch though because it was at Rice Eccles Stadium.
Where I didn't know when the ball was out or not.
Oh, the lines were out of whack. The actual stands covered the goal the sidelines, so you couldn't see it when you were watching on TV.
Quality.
Well,
way to go, Don Garber.
You know what though. I'm not sure what's going to happen on the weekend. I think we have an opportunity to.
Nobody's coming back. It's the squad
TFC?
that was last week. We have
I
two defenders
so.
playing on the wing.
Have anybody coming back?
Oh, Robinson. He was with Wales, he was with Wales on for the Euro qualifiers.
As far as injuries though I don't believe that we have anybody coming back. But any significant
but
contributions
having
coming
Robinson
back.
allows somebody like Wynn to maybe drop back, or Donovan more so to drop back and keep Wynn up in the wing.
Yeah,
and that at least gets Braz out of there and allows us a little more strength on the back line.
Well, Real Salt Lakes look shaky. They looked shaky the last time we played them, but I think because of the atmosphere out in Utah, a little bit higher sort of atmosphere or elevation, all that sort of stuff, it was tougher for the guys to play. And I'm making excuses, but I think when you bring it to the Toronto FC BMO Field atmosphere, when we've got 20,000, hopefully 20,000, I don't see it happening to be honest. I think this is the opportunity for what might even be a last home win of the season for Toronto FC. In my opinion,
we need to shine as fans and really show them that we're still behind them. I think that's important.
For sure. What do you think the result's going to be?
I keep saying they're going to win.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely no prognosticator, but I'd have to say I'm still going to go with a 1-0 victory for Toronto FC. I can never say they're going to lose. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I don't care. I never think logically about this.
I predicted last week. I predicted that Dallas was going to win 2-1. I thought we were going to get a goal. I didn't think we were going to get the result, and I'm sort of hesitant to predict that we're going to get results moving forward. If there is one that I think we are going to get, I think it's going to be this one on Saturday. And I hope that the fans are up for it. I hope the fans bring something to the table, and if the fans can create the atmosphere that we have, which I think we will, if we can bring that to the table, they'll be able to spur on the team. I think Toronto FC is going to do it. I'm looking for, it's funny because I'm looking for 2-0 a victory for Toronto FC, but we do need to score in the first sort of 15-20 minutes of the game.
Oh,
that's always been something with our team. With DC, the last game, which was winnable in my opinion, we sort of we dominated them in the first 15 minutes of the game.
Exactly. You didn't see Dallas. It was exactly the same thing.
Yeah, and they
dominated
sort of,
the first 20 minutes.
Once a team sort of rides that out, then they can sort of pull it back. And if we can fire a couple of goals in, or at least a goal during that initial assault by Toronto FC, then we can get the victory. So I'm picking 2-0 for Toronto FC. I'm hoping for it. I'm praying for it. I'm I'm confident that we.
He's
can
on
do
his
it.
knees right now. Alex, get away.
On that note, I think we're going to wrap things up. But we have to do a little bit of news, Red Patch Boys news that we want to talk about before we wrap up, and then we're going to be done here. So what do we got?
All right, so the Niagara tournament went on this weekend. I hear it was a resounding success.
Yes, I didn't make the trip up. Obviously, I was down in the States. Right. Otherwise, I would have been there for sure.
I didn't because I'm fat and lazy.
I did hear that the KW team got knocked out in the semifinals, and Burloak or something.
Yeah,
United,
something like that.
They were the eventual victors of the tournament. But
I think everyone was a winner just for playing.
Yeah. Hats off
everyone
to Tim.
Have ice cream for breakfast.
Would
now.
You be quiet? Hats off to Tim and all the rest of the guys in Niagara who put this thing together. Really put on a great event and
that's awesome.
And hosted hopefully what will become an annual Red Patch Boys tournament out there.
I think that's great. That's awesome, and hopefully the year after next I get to play. Also, ticks are still left for the DC trip. From my
Yeah, for
understanding.
sure.
So,
Get
yeah.
get on the bus. From my
Yeah,
for sure.
So,
Get on the bus. I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, I'm not sure if I'm going. It's more of a financial thing to me, and I think a lot of people are sort of suffering from financial exhaustion towards the end of the
Yes.
season here.
Yeah.
Some people may not be in the black anymore.
Right.
But if you can't afford it, get on the bus. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
DC, they have some of the best fans in the MLS. We obviously have the best fans in the MLS, and it's an opportunity to go down and to just have a good time.
It's
because
always a good time.
yeah, it's a great time and it's a great trip. And if you're worried about the bus being too rowdy and all that sort of stuff, don't, because it's a good time. And we go down, we have a blast. Yeah, there's going to be partying on the bus, but if you're concerned about that,
Sit towards the front.
Sit towards the front, or
Yeah.
take a car, or
Yeah.
I know there's about 10-15 guys flying down for this
Yeah.
thing. So
There's
go down.
lots
It's
of
going to be a
ways.
good party, and there's going to be a good another good party post game. There's going to be a post game party that's being set up for the Red Patch Boys as
brilliant.
well. And
Well, and I'll tell you, I went to the post-game party in New York, and it was absolutely awesome. So even if you're not too stoked about the team's play right now, I think the atmosphere of the game atmosphere, being around Red Patch Boys, who are just a great group of people, and the after parties are all worth just a trip down to DC, and maybe you get a chance to tour around for a few hours as well. So
yeah, for sure, go
you
see
know,
the city.
Yeah, just don't go to the periphery.
That's it. What else we got?
Okay, and then we have Rick Mercer from the Rick Mercer Report.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
will be coming to our tailgate. So yeah,
that's another reason to come to the tailgate
Cash
on
cleaner.
Saturday.
Good job,
when
brother.
Yeah, for sure, Craig. Thank you for putting that together. And if you wanted another reason to come to the tailgate on Saturday prior to Real Salt Lake, they're going to be coming down with the crew. They're going to be at our tailgate. They're going to be at the game with us in 112, I believe, and then they're going to be doing the post game at Shula. So they're taking in the Red Patch Boys experience, if you will, for the day. And, it's not something to come in and be like, oh, yeah, come down and be on TV, but just come down. It's going to be fun. It's going to be something that you can enjoy and, come down, do your thing like you would on any other day. I mean, there's no other reason not to. And just have a good time. And, it's going to be another great way to, the thing that I find best about this is that it's just going to show off Toronto FC on a national level once again, which is great exposure for the team and for the fans, and once again prove why we're the best in the whole league.
Yeah, and the best supporters group in the whole league as well.
Yeah, the other thing that's going on is at the tailgate as well is the Terry Fox head shave that Jack's put together.
I believe it starts at 1 p.m. That's when they start shaving heads.
Yeah, we're going to start shaving heads.
Yeah.
We're still working with the team to try and see if I know the winner of the head shave, whoever raises the most money, is actually going to get to meet Dickie O and have a sort of I don't know if he gets a jersey or a T-shirt or something like that.
yeah.
But, it would be really cool if we could work on a way of getting him actually out there now that he's injured and not playing. It'd be pretty cool to have him out there, and especially out and around the fans and stuff. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if we can get it done. But we would love it if he would be able to come out there. It would be, huge, show of gratitude by the team. And just, it would just be great for the guys
it just
to see him
supports an
come out.
awesome cause, obviously.
Oh,
so
such a good cause. It's such a
good
good
job,
thing.
Jack.
For sure, and you weren't there last
And
week.
Jack's going to be shaving his hair, which
and Jack
which
has
is
a mop.
amazing. Yeah, I
and
mean,
if you've ever seen his passport photo, it's a big thing for him to be shaving his head, because I've seen him with a shaved head before, and it's frightening.
Yeah, no, he has a strange head.
Yeah,
with hair.
No, but it's going to be great. Ooh, almost fell over there. It's going to be great, and the one other thing I did want to say about it is that you weren't there last week when we sort of had our meeting, and Jack reported at that time that we had already over $5,000 raised for the Terry Fox Foundation.
Booyah.
So it's fantastic. It's
Good
great,
job.
and it's good to see. So cheers to you guys for doing that, because you guys are awesome. And what else? I think that's it, right?
That's
Do we have
it, just
anything
birthdays.
else? Yeah, whose birthday is
Yeah,
it?
so we have, what is it, Gixmo or Hixmo or Jixmo?
I think it's
how do we
Jixmo.
go? Jixmo?
I don't know. I called. There's a guy on our board called Paradigm, and I announced it as Paradigmy. So I'm not one to correct the spelling of names or its pronunciation.
All right, well, his birthday's September 10th, or her for that matter. And then we have Dunk, who's September 14th, and Just TFC, whose birthday is September 16th.
Oh, the one last thing I do
hey.
want to say before we go is there's a couple of guys leaving. James 90217813775 from the board. He's going to be heading out. I'm not sure how long he's going out for, but I want to wish you all the best and thank you for everything that you've done for the group.
Good luck,
and
brother.
The other guy that we are going to have to say goodbye to is the mighty Bring Black the Blizzard.
Right. Easy for you to say.
Apparently I can't talk. No, Bring Back the Blizzard. He's taken off. He's going to Japan for a year.
Okay, I'll give you a
to do
third
teaching.
time to say it absolutely properly. Go one more time. Bring
Bring back the blizzard.
There we go.
You like that? Yeah, he's taken off. He's going to Japan to be an assistant professor, and we just want to, number one, thank him, especially in the early days of Red Patch Boys, for all the work that he put in. Helped out with the website, posting articles, posting information for all the dummies like us who didn't know anything about MLS, and just telling us about allocations and DPs and all that sort of good information. So cheers to him. Thank you for everything that you do, and we wish you all the best off in Japan. The final thank yous, of course, Alex, who we would not have the show if it were not for him.
Right.
Thank you, Alex, as always, for everything that you do. And to whoever is going to post this today, I think it's probably going to be. I think it's going to be Mike. So I'll give a preemptive thank you out to Mike Parkdale for taking care of that, and to Masari as always, and to everybody for listening. So thanks, guys. We'll see you on Saturday at BMO Field, TFC versus Real Salt Lake. Red Patch Live will be back next week.
Boom goes the dynamite.